Hey guys!
Hey y'all, how y'all doing today?
Hope all is well. Welcome back to another episode of Made Wonderfully podcast.
Yes. So again, we're just going to dive into it. So for today's episode, we're diving into experiences and lessons that we're going to get into is from the ages of 11 and 18. So like preteen, teenage years. So do you want to kick it off?
You go first.
Oh, you want me to kick it off?
Yeah, you go first with this
This
one.
was the episode I was hoping you was going to say yes. I said, yeah, she going to kick it off for me. But it's okay. Let's get into it. This one for me, I'm not going to lie, this episode, this section is going to be probably a little bit challenging to speak of. Because I don't think I really talk about this experience publicly, really. I mainly just know it's a situation that happened that I just, keep to myself.
Yeah.
And to, the people who were there for it. But, so, between the ages of 11 and 18, I'm going to stick more to, more so the 11-year-old side of it. So, for me, that's when I was in middle school. And that was, honestly, middle school, I would say, was the hardest school period part of my life. High school was a breeze compared to middle school.
Yeah.
So
I actually liked middle school better.
I hated middle school.
Yeah.
And I hated it because at school I was being teased and bullied. And then at home it wasn't really great at that time. I saw a lot of things which for the purposes of it's not just my story, it's other people's story. I won't be really sharing too much just because that is their story to tell, so I don't want to go too much into it. But let's just say for the sake of this video, home life wasn't good. So we had school life that isn't good. So you're at school all day and then you come home, and home is supposed to be a place of peace, and it just wasn't it at that time, And so for me, that caused me to be in a place where I felt like I just don't want to exist anymore for the sake of YouTube guidelines. If you can read in between the lines, I did have an unaliving attempt during that stage in my life, where I just did not want to exist here anymore.
This is my first time ever hearing this.
Yeah, I don't talk about it. It really was one of the darkest points in my life where I just felt like I'm good. I'm good at being a person that was here to age 11. And I was okay with that. Like, I was at peace with knowing that I would be in a more peaceful existence because of, one, again, everything that I saw already up to that point, and different things that was happening inside the home and the things that was happening inside of school. I just felt like this would be a better alternative. But then I am one of those people where I chickened out. I'm not going to even hold you. I chickened out of my own attempt. No,
I'm glad you did.
You can laugh. So then I came up with an alternative. The alternative was, because I had a plan. Okay, so Kennia, I'm type A. So I like to plan everything to the detail and do research on everything. So that was still very much so me, even with the attempt. Very type A. I planned it to the note. I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. No, I think it was the planning it to the T that really psyched me out of it, because it was just like, oh wow, this is final.
Yeah.
So I was just and then it's I'm also scared of pain. So it's just I'm going to feel this first before it's over. And it's just I don't I don't feel like feeling that first. So I said, okay, let me just.
Not being lazy with the plan.
It was more like I hate pain. I have like a very low pain tolerance, and I'm like, this is gonna hurt first, so I'm gonna feel this first. So I said, you know what? Let me just run away instead. So then I started planning out my runaway attempt. So
I plan to run away too, so
I said, let me just start planning that out. So I said, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I got dressed, and I got dressed, but then I put on like a pajama coat on top, which is just pretty much like a really long, thick quilted robe. I put it on top. I said, the plan is I'm going to be on the couch. I'm going to do my regular thing, which is like reading a book or just sitting on the couch until my mom go to sleep. She's going to go to sleep, and then I'm going to go out, and that's going to be it. Didn't have any plans, really.
Because there you was going to go.
Honestly, don't laugh. I was going to go to the sandbox.
No, it's okay.
No, I was going to... I'm not... Yeah, I was... So it was like, okay... The significance of that is because that was actually a place where I felt safe. Yeah. So I was going to go to the sandbox or to my grandmother's neighborhood.
I would have went to grandma's neighborhood.
See, yeah, but it's just like, do I really want to be outside? It's cold. It was cold.
I'm so glad there's so many things that help you chicken out.
Again, when you, my brain. Okay, so yeah, so okay, so what
That's
happened?
Trauma in itself.
Yeah. So what happened was, once I was dressed and everything, my mom walked by, and I think the way I was positioned, she seen my jeans under it. So she looked, why are you wearing clothes? Oh, I'm going to take out the garbage. Now, you know you lying, Aaliyah. You hate taking out the garbage. So that's when she's like, no, you got to tell me what's going on. So then that's when I had to tell her that I was attempting to not exist anymore. And that was really hard to admit to her. I know that had to hurt as a parent to hear that. So I know it was also equally traumatic to my mom to hear that was what was happening to me at that moment. But there were several things besides me not wanting to feel pain that made me chicken out, because I think me not wanting to feel pain was like a very small part of it, not really a big part. Because if it was just that, honestly, I wouldn't be here right now. The bigger part of it, which is kind of scary, not scary, like good scary. I actually heard God for the first time in my life at that moment.
How?
It's crazy. So he pretty much just revealed the plans that he had for my life. So the purposes that I already knew from a young age, from when I was 5, of what I wanted to do with my life that God installed in me, he told me is not just like a 5-year-old just dreaming of what they wanted to be. He told me like that was the purpose he had for me in my life, and he shared with me other things that he wants for me and wants for my life. And that was a big part of feeling like I have to push through, because it's a promise of tomorrow. It's a promise of what I'm going through currently is going to pass.
He wouldn't push you through anything you couldn't handle.
Yes. So in those moments when I wanted to not exist anymore, it was because I felt like I had no purpose. I felt, again, at that moment, not enough because of the bullying at school, and then the other things that were happening in the home. Again, it was just a feeling, again, from starting from dad and then going into these other stages of life, another reminder of like, I'm not enough. I'm not perfect enough. People don't like me, you see? So it was just another feeling, another reminder of just feeling inadequate. And then hearing God talk to me and pour life into me, that he has a plan for me that's bigger than just me, made me say, it's a lot. It hurts. The things I'm seeing hurt. The things that is happening to me. hurts, but I will sustain it for now, just because of the promise of God. And then also, again, there was a lot of things happening at that time. And I knew my mom needed me. And then to think that if I was to do that to myself, how that would make her feel with all that was happening, I think it would make it worse. And I couldn't put somebody else in pain just to relieve mine. So it was the promise of God and the love of my mom that I have for her, and not wanting to add any more pain into her life than the things she's already experienced, went through, and was going through. I just decided I'm not going to do it. I'll just run away. But yeah, she caught me mid runaway.
I'm glad she did, though.
Yes, so she did catch me, and that was the first time I ever heard the words therapy.
Yeah.
Because she was just like, "Oh no, like I'm gonna put you in therapy," and I told her no, like don't do that. Like I cried and I cried and I begged her not to do it, because if you go to somebody and tell them that like, "Oh, my child wanted to commit S," they're gonna. I was scared they was gonna try to put me on drugs and throw me into a mental institution, which are things that, like, I've never been in a mental institution personally, but I've seen how they look because my mom worked at one. So it's like, one, I've seen how those places look, but two, just within my family lineage, I know people who have been through those experiences, and I just did not want to go through that experience because of a moment of feeling inadequate, because that's all that was. It was just a moment of feeling inadequate, a moment of not feeling enough. But in that moment, I felt the love and the presence of God. I felt his purpose over my life. He made me feel seen. He made me feel wonderful. He made me feel beautiful. He made me feel like life is worth living past this moment, and that moment is just an experience. And for anyone who's out there that's going through something, that's going through just some type of hurt, some type of pain, trauma, whatever it is, just know that it's just a moment, that it will pass, it will get better. And I can say today that it is better. Like, I did make it to the other side of it to see that it is better. Am I fully in the full part of what God has for me? No. Am I walking into my destiny? Yes. Am I walking into my purpose? Yes. So I can definitely sit here and say today that I'm glad that that 11, 12-year-old version of me did not go through with that plan, that the devil is a liar, that the devil definitely planted that seed of, you see, nobody likes you. Why are you even here? You think you're going to make something of your life? You have people telling you you're not going to be nothing.
Can't listen to them.
Yeah, you can't. You have a bunch of different things that's going on in the home. You have bullying and teasing at school. Like, what kind of purpose you think you're going to serve? It's the negative thoughts that was placed in my head. But God intervened. God showed through and showed me that he loves me enough to step in that moment and let me hear his voice. And for that, I will always be indebted to God.
Amen. Oh my God, that made me feel... This is by far my first time ever hearing you talk about this. I know we talk about a lot of deep things, but this is really deep.
Yeah.
I've never heard you talk about this before. And I'm so glad to still have you here with me.
Thank you.
Because I wouldn't imagine my life without you. So, like, I wouldn't even want you to run away. You understand that? I feel like I wish I was there to pull you through. But I'm really glad that you had God to do that for you.
Yes. Yeah. Stay with us now, y'all.
Stay with us. I think for me, it wasn't. I say it's kind of like two things. I want to basically talk about abuse.
Yeah.
I kind of physically went through it as a kid, and let me just say this for number one. as coming from a single parent household, I really do see that my mom was only doing her best, and she didn't really have all the resources. And so I feel like all her trauma that she has been through as a kid was really just kind of passed down to me, and she didn't really know all those parenting techniques. So all the things that she was going through, it's like she took it out on me, whether it was hurtful words, whether it was her putting her hands on me. And I could talk about it now because we literally healed from it. But I say this to say it really put a lot on me, because at that moment I was the only child, and so I was also the person that everybody would come to as a kid too. So it's just like, who do I even go to talk about these things? Who do I come to be comfort of these things? I can't even go to my mama right now because she's going through so much stuff, and I'm like her only best friend and all that stuff. But at the same time, when she feels low, it's like all that is getting towards me. And then another type of abuse is me witnessing abuse, and that is hard too, because it's like, right.
It's okay.
And I'm a jokey person, you know. When I start laughing like this, it's really because I'm trying to hold back tears.
Yeah.
It's like a coping mechanism, child. I think that's one of the reasons why I just also like to keep to myself. I don't trust anybody. I can't. It takes a long time for me to open up to people. I feel like I am going to witness that on my own. Like I don't ever want to. I don't want to say never. I don't want to go through those type of abuse. And so what I'm trying to do to learn from all that trauma of, being hit on and witnessing getting hit and just those relationships that would really tear you down, I am trying to be, as a parent, to, instead of hitting my child, really talk her feelings out, communicate. And I think in an episode you did talk about like staying in the child's place. Right. I really do have her staying in the child's place. I didn't get to witness that. I think I've known way too many things as a child. Like, for example, my daughter does not know at the time, I guess 8 to 10 years old. My daughter did not know what an abortion is, but I did at like 7. And seeing all that abuse and all that stuff, it's just like, I wish that I was able to just stay in the child's place.
Girl.
I wish I had that.
Girl, that's a privilege. Just to be
That's
like,
a luxury.
Yes.
See, look, that's why I say I love the simple things, because it's just like, the luxury, and my daughter gets that luxury. That, yes, she's probably going through some trauma, but she has the luxury of not being witness to see somebody get hurt. Have I made that mistake on her? Of course. Did I learn from it? Absolutely. And I feel so much better that I'm able to show up and not pass down that trauma onto her like it was so me. Oh, that was a lot. But I'm just glad that for everybody it has stopped and everybody is healing. I'm healing from it. My mom is learning healing from it. We're healing together. And that I was able to stop a cycle, because it's not easy to stop those either.
Speak on it. Breaking generational curses
and
starting generational blessings.
Amen. Ooh, yes. How do you feel?
I feel better. I hope that everyone out there who's been through something traumatic also feels seen, heard, and validated. Know that life does get better. There is another side to abuse. There is the other side to trauma that you can grow and you can heal from. I feel like I want to look up some resources for you guys, just in case you are going through any type of abuse, any type of groups, women groups, men groups. I also want to say specifically men groups, because I feel like men don't get to talk about their trauma enough.
They absolutely don't.
Because I feel like they're scared that people are going to throw it in their face and mock them.
And make them feel weak.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, people do that. Like, we've seen it. You remember when Terry Crews came out about him being sexually harassed, and people made fun of it, and that pissed me off, because it's just like, why are we making fun of a man who was abused. People are making jokes like, you're a big man, but it's like, exactly, he's a big black man. And do you know how that would look for a big black man to then go off or to defend himself on an executive? Like, he still has to work and feed his family. So by not doing nothing, he was preserving himself, preserving his job, preserving his reputation. But he also should have been able to speak about his experience, because during that time it was the Me Too movement. And I feel like we have to make spaces for everyone to share their story and to grow, and for it to not be thrown back in their spaces. So I am going to try to look for some resources so we can add in the description box for anyone who's going through any type of abuse or trauma. So you have a group. If you do want to leave comments and talk about your experiences, you can, and we will reply. If you feel like you want us to elaborate more on anything that we discussed, please let us know. I have no problem with, well, we have no problem with writing more or even making a follow-up video just for you. If there's something else you want us to expand on, or if you're going through a certain conflict and you want like our expertise or things that we went through to get through those situations, I have no problem. I have no problem on expanding on certain things once I get permit. Like, I'll get permission from those individuals to see how much I can share. And if they say like, oh yeah, you can share it all, I have no problem with like going into more details for you guys, because I have no problem with expanding on those things. I just need to get permission, because it's not just my story, it's other people's story that it crosses paths through. And I want to be fair to everybody else, to like be comfortable with where I share. That's also somebody's story for them to tell too.
Yeah,
so
I respect that.
I just like to keep a healthy boundary of respecting people's information and people's experiences, and staying true to those experiences as well.
Yeah. This concludes today's podcast episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to please leave any comments in the comment box, of course. And we will see you guys on the next episode. We wish you guys so much wealth and love and joy. And we can't wait to see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.